Hi guys! So I've been talking to you a lot about anger, how we all get angry sometimes and that's okay. But when we get angry, we need to stay safe and respectful. I think we all know though that is not always easy when we're feeling really mad. That's why it's important that we learn coping strategies. Those are just little things that you can do to help you manage those big feelings when you get them so that you stay safe and respectful. Today, I am going to teach you how you can make something that will help you when you're feeling a big feeling. I keep it in my calm down kit. It is a stress ball. So stress balls are just a simple, easy thing that you can make at home that you can squeeze when you're feeling a really big feeling like anger or frustration, even worry or anxiety. When you're squeezing that will help you relax your body, slow your breathing, get some of that tension in your muscles out a little bit, and also it can help you even improve your focus. So a stress ball is a great thing to have in your calm down kit for when you're feeling those really big feelings. Before we start this activity, it is kind of a messy one. I want you to make sure that you've asked a grown-up in your house for permission, because again, this is going to be a messy one. Before we get started, I would recommend doing this on a table or a kitchen counter. Fortunately, my camera doesn't really fit on my counter, so that's why I'm doing it on this, but I would recommend for you to do it in your kitchen, on a counter, or at a table to make it just a little bit cleaner. You can also put down some newspaper to try to contain the mess a little bit more. I'm going to actually put down this paper plate to try to keep some of the mess contained for me also, because I don't want to mess either. So what you will need first is some balloons. These are just some old balloons I had lying around my house from like a birthday or something. Doesn't matter what color, just some balloons. The next thing you will need is something to put inside the stress ball. You could use something like cornstarch or flour if you have flour at your house. You could even use cotton balls. These are just cotton balls. Some people also will use things like beans or rice, but I picked cornstarch and cotton balls just because these are things that most people have around the house already, and they're pretty easy to work with. If you don't have cornstarch, flour also works, is a-okay. Before you use any of these things, please talk to that grown-up in your house. Make sure that it's okay to use them before you get them. The next thing you will need is a little bit from the last stress ball I made. You will need a funnel. If you don't have a funnel, that's okay. You can actually make your own. If you have a soda bottle or a water bottle, this can get turned into a funnel. Please, please, please ask a grown-up in your house or an older brother or sister to do this though, okay? This is something that somebody older should be doing. That older person can take the water bottle or the soda bottle and they can actually cut it, maybe about halfway or maybe a little bit less if you'd like, and that will turn it into a funnel. But again, please, please, please make sure that it is a grown-up or an older brother or sister doing this. We want to always be safe. One more thing that will be helpful when we're making this is a pencil. Sometimes the fillings will, this will help us make sure there's no clogs. So I'm going to move some of these things out of the way so I have a nice, neat area to show you what to do. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is pick out your balloon, and then you are going to blow that balloon up to about, its normal size, and then you're going to let the air out. Then you're going to blow it up again, and then you're going to let the air out. That actually stretches the balloon out and makes it easier for you to fill it. I have already done that step. So the next thing that you will need is the funnel. Now on your paper or my paper plate, you're going to want to put down your funnel and put your balloon over the pointy edge of the funnel. Just like that. Now I know it seems like the balloon is staying on there by itself pretty well, but when we are doing this, you're going to want to definitely hold it on. When you're filling the balloon up, you don't want that to come out because then the cornstarch or whatever you're using might spill all over. So make sure you're holding onto it tightly. The next thing you will need is the cornstarch. I already poured the cornstarch out into this container just to make it a little bit easier. So when you have what you're going to fill it with, you're going to pour some into the funnel. Not too much though, just a small amount at a time. Oops. See, told you it was a little bit messy. just like that, just a small amount. And then you're going to get that pencil, you're going to push it down. You're using the pencil to push all that cornstarch or flour right down into the balloon. Perfect. When you're done with that little amount, you can actually pour some more in there, because that's not really full. We're going to want more than that. Pour some more in there. Now, if you're trying this with cotton balls, obviously it's not going to go in as easily as flour or cornstarch. I recommend ripping the cotton balls up into tinier pieces. I tried making one before with cotton balls, and I did not rip it up at first, and it was really, really hard. It kept getting stuck. But once I ripped it into little pieces, I found it was much, much easier. So if you're working with cotton balls, that is the way to go. And also another good thing about using cotton balls when you're making them is they don't make as much mess. And if anything was to ever happen to the stress ball, any reason that it would rip, the cotton balls are pretty neat. They don't fill it up quite as well as the cornstarch or the flour, that's why I picked this, but they are also another good choice. So it's starting to get a little bit more filled up, but I think I want a little bit more in there just so that it's better to squeeze. Just gonna keep pushing it in there. As you can see, this might take a few minutes, but that's okay. We're getting there. We're working on our patience. See how it's a little bit messy? Sometimes some of the cornstarch goes flying. That's why we got our papers down. We're at a space that's okay to get a bit messy, like a counter. Just a little bit more. I think it's almost done, but I'm gonna push just a little bit more in there. Almost there. A little bit more. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but when you're using the pencil, you're going to want to make sure that you're using the eraser side. The other side is very pointy and it might poke a hole, so please make sure you're using the eraser side. There. I think I'm pretty good. If you want to put a little more on yours, that's okay, you can, but I think I'm going to stop right here. So now, what we need to do is we need to take this balloon off of here. We want to be really careful. You might want to ask another person for some help just so that we don't make a big mess. So you might need somebody to help you for this part. What you're going to do is you're going to pinch right at the top of the balloon, so below the funnel, but right at the top of the balloon, you're going to pinch so that none of the cornstarch can come out. See how I'm pinching it? And then you're going to carefully, with your other hand or with a helper, you're going to take the balloon off the funnel, like that. There we go. Move this out of the way so you can see. Just like that. Now what we need to do is we need to tie this top nice and firmly. We want to make sure that the knot is nice and tight so that we don't have flour and cornstarch all over our house. You might need to ask a grown-up or an older brother or sister for this part too. There we go. Now, this stress ball is pretty strong already, and we're going to be careful with it, but I like to actually add another balloon over it to make it extra strong. So what you're going to do then is take another balloon, move this out of the way, and I'm actually going to, I'm going to use this green one, cut the very top. See how there's that part right at the top? I'm going to cut that part right off, because then what we are going to do is we are going to open this balloon up a little bit, and we're going to put it over the stress ball that we just made. You might need some help from a grown-up for this part. It can be a little bit tricky. When I was trying it earlier, I actually needed help too, because it's not always easy, and it'll probably be an easier job with two people. So I'm just going to carefully, oops, put it in there. There we go. Whoops, that's just some leftover cornstarch. So there. When we have that over it, just like last time, we're going to tie it up. This is just an extra layer. Keep it extra strong so that it's hard for any holes to develop in it. Oops. That's okay. First try doesn't work. Try again. So I'm going to try one more time. Perfect. Just like that. See? And if you want to add a third layer, that's a-okay. That'll make it extra tough, extra strong, but I'm going to leave it right here. Now we have this extra bit right there, so I'm just going to use my scissors and cut it off, and there you go. There is your stress ball, just like that. Now, we did use balloons to make this stress ball. Balloons are not a safe thing to have on babies or toddlers. If you have a baby or a toddler in your home, please don't leave this around where they can get it. That would not be safe for them. Also, when you're using this, the right way to use it is to be squeezing it. We shouldn't ever have it near our mouth. We shouldn't be biting it or anything like that because it wouldn't be safe for us, and also it could cause a hole in that, which could cause a big mess. So we need to make sure to be using this the right way and the safe way. So that is the stress ball. I hope that you all enjoyed making this, and I hope that it's really helpful next time you have a big feeling. So that is the stress ball. Bye, guys.